And we are back for a double dose of Let's Talk Vinyl in the month of September. I am Anthony. October. God damn it. You know,
God damn it. You know, just right off the bat, man.
I
You throwing out wrong facts right
I'm
off the
wrong.
bat.
Yeah. Well, let's rewind. Double dose in the month of October as we enter into the spooky weekend, otherwise known as Halloween. We are officially 250,000 downloads away from hitting a 2 million mark, which will then put us in perspective of being a top podcast for music and wine. So hold your horses. We're getting there quick. But before we get into even any more topics, let me introduce the wine expert, Pearl Jam loving. He snaps photos of his beautiful wife and posts it online to make men jealous, Mr. Trey Bush.
Thank you, buddy. How are you? I don't do it for that reason. I do it to promote her burlesque and pinup career.
Sure, but
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 if it
let's
does that, it does that. So
let's listen. Your wife's beautiful, and she's also beyond being beautiful because there's a stereotype of beautiful women sometimes not being the smartest. Your wife is so smart and so nice. It's always a pleasure, have her around. So
I can't wait till we get to all actually hang out in person.
it's it. Once I find time, I feel like
Yeah, well, I feel with these last Pearl Jam shows back in September, I was surprised that I'm like, well, first of all, September I'm a little busy with harvest, so the fact that I didn't make it out to see you, um, was for See Here Now, which looked amazing, but I thought, wow, he'll make it for sure to Encore weekend, but I know you're just as busy, so we're just gonna have to meet up next year with whatever dates are gonna work for both of us, and
sure,
we're gonna make it happen then for sure.
most definitely.
So, which I'm excited about.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's interesting. I guess we've been doing the show is August of last year, so it's been a year and 2 months we've been doing the show. I first interviewed
Yep,
you almost, God, it's almost been, it'll be 2 years
almost
and almost
two
two
years.
years.
Yeah, right.
So, and it was interesting because, when you meet certain people, and when I do interviews, I always try to play like a casual conversation. I don't like to overdo it and I like to connect. And like after the interview the first time, we ended up talking after the interview for longer than the actual show was. And it was just this great connection. And that's when I knew I was like, yeah, man, we have to do something together.
Well, part of it is that I really don't talk about Pearl Jam that much, and especially if we're not on tour or and so in just my daily life, other than listening to them and stuff, it's not like I talk about the band all the time. And so when I had the opportunity to talk to another fan uh, about things that we have in common and love about this band, and that's part of what makes this community so great, I
Yeah,
think.
I couldn't
So
agree.
I'm glad you reached out to me all those 2 years ago, and here we are today. It's pretty awesome. So,
It is
by the way, if you're
pretty.
watching this if you're watching this on Facebook Live and you're wondering why Anthony's setup is so much more professional looking than mine, I mean, I'm looking at my lighting right now. You can tell that it's getting dark in the Pacific Northwest. Like we're rolling into the gloomy period, and this is where the best music is made, right?
Mm,
This is where the grunge was born. When the sun goes down at like 4 o'clock
Jesus.
and it's raining incessantly in the Pacific Northwest, you know why they were creating that music.
Mm.
So I apologize for that.
Well, listen, first, well, unless you're listening to this on a podcast version, and then I will describe Trey as he is in a shadowy delight with his tan skin looking ever so fine. So let's move on. So today we're actually doing a curve, and I don't want to talk too much and take up too much of the meeting because we have a lot to talk about. We have two great songs. I want to share a new favorite song. There's a cover song that was recently played by a very popular band up in Seattle of Pearl Jam that we have video of. We have so much to share tonight, and let's just jump right into it. So tonight we're not drinking anything out of your winery, I believe, because it doesn't say sleight of
You
hands on
are.
this.
You are.
So this,
You are drinking something out of our winery. This is another label that we created. This is called the Renegade Wine Company,
okay.
and this label was born. We started the winery Sleight of Hand back in 2007, And in 2008 was the beginning of that economic downturn,
Ooh.
'07, '08, when we had all those issues. And that was a big shock to the economy. And our sleight of hand label and the wines that we make are not inexpensive wines. And so our distributor in Washington came to us and asked us if we could put together a red table wine program uh, that would be $10 retail, right? And I said, God, I don't, based on my fruit contracts and how much it costs us to buy fruit and just the time and all that stuff to make wine. Well, the other side effect to the economic downturn were there were a lot of wineries that were having issues moving product, and they were selling off bulk wine. Bulk wine is wine that was already made. It's in barrel, but they're not moving what's in bottle fast enough, and so it's doesn't behoove them to spend all the money to bottle another few thousand cases. And so you can go buy that wine, bulk wine, at essentially a lower price point, especially in those kind of times.
Okay.
And so we launched the Renegade Wine Company in 2008, buying some bulk wine from a neighbor winery in Walla Walla. And that was the very first Renegade Wine Company red wine. And that brand has grown since then substantially.
Wow.
Now we make 3 different wines. We make a rosé, Renegade Wine Company rosé. We make a Chardonnay. We make a Cabernet. And you're drinking the Cabernet tonight. And we've moved our model from buying bulk wine on the spot market, essentially having to go look for it, to basically vineyard to bottle. And so rather than relying on what's available in the marketplace, we're now able to purchase fruit in a vineyard, make the wine, and get it into bottle for, I think this retails on the East Coast for about $15.
Okay.
In Washington, you can find it for $12, something like that.
So this is an
But
extremely affordable wine.
it's a very affordable wine. It's meant for glass pours at restaurants, and it's just meant to sort of deliver classic Cabernet character. There's no new oak on this Cabernet.
Okay.
Most of the time you drink Cabernet Sauvignon, you're gonna see a lot of new oak on it. They're big and bold and oaky and delicious and all those wonderful things. This doesn't see any new oak, and so it's going to be more fruit forward.
Okay.
You're going to get those classic Cabernet characters. There's like a green note, almost like a bell pepper component, which is classic Cabernet. You'll get like a cassis note in there as well. Red cherries. It's more red fruited than anything.
I will tell you this, Trey. Looking at, first of all, I don't know if you've ever made T-shirts with the logo, like with the hat and the wine, but you need to.
Yeah.
I mean,
We've done it before. We don't sell that wine in our tasting room. We make that for our distributors, and so we distribute our wines in about 20 states, and so this is a way for them to find some glass pours, and they can case stack this in retail spots because it's so affordable.
yeah, I
But
love the
yes,
logo.
my friend Dave Place did that. My good buddy Dave Place, who's bass player and graphic designer. He
Nice.
designed the psychedelic label, which you've had before.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah.
No, I love it. And I love the slogan, glasses. We don't need no stinking glasses. I love it. I love it. Now listen, Trey, I'm going to tell you something. In 4 weeks,
Yeah.
I've only had 1 carb, and that was when we drank wine last time. This will be the only second time I've had carbs in over 4 weeks, and I'm only doing it for you.
All right. Well, I feel responsible, but at the same time, I'm proud. I'm a proud man. What do you think? Thank you for also filling it up halfway in your glass, not all the way to the top. Well done.
I'm learning. I am learning.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you know what?
Is your wife drinking Cabernet? Is she drinking wine at all right now?
No, with my wife, I have to bring her. I think I have to introduce her to you and Holly to get her to find wine she likes. She did like what was the one we had a couple
Rosé
of?
or the Riesling?
She liked the Riesling a lot.
The Riesling, yeah.
Yeah, so
And that's good. That's fine. You can just start them off there, and we'll be a slow pace. We'll get her there.
yeah, no, I like this one. I like, to be honest with you, and not to judge one of the over. I actually prefer this one over what we
Yeah.
had at the last show. I
Which
like
was the Spellbinder.
correct. I like how this
Yeah.
one has you were saying it's very fruit forward. Is that what the words you were
Yeah.
saying? Yeah, I can definitely
Sure.
taste it more that way. And I don't, and it's true because like sometimes you can taste that oakiness to it, like you were saying. And I don't taste it in this one. I kind of like it. And it's not as, it doesn't hit the side of the walls as tartly as some of them does. I really like this one. Maybe it's because I haven't had a beer in 4 weeks, and the only 2 times I've really drank is these 2 times, and it's cleansed my palate a little bit. But this is absolute. I actually enjoy this.
You're a better man than me for going a month without having a beer or a glass of wine. So
Well, the last time I saw you, I couldn't fit in the shirt. Like this shirt was like it looked like skin tight. Now it's loose and baggy, which is great.
look
30.
amazing.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm far from where I want to be, but I'm glad to be where I'm at now. So definitely. But no,
By the way, I'm just noticing. I'm sitting here noticing your hat. I'm just looking at it. Is that a My Morning Jacket hat?
yeah, I am.
Oh, that's a great looking hat.
Oh, I
Have you
love
heard
this
the
hat.
new album?
Oh, come on. So
Is that? I mean, was that going to be your song? Don't tell me that was going
nope.
to be your song.
No.
Okay. All right.
No.
All
The
right.
new My Morning Jacket album came out last Friday. I stayed up until midnight. It was just I was going through a lot, so I was like, I just need a new music because I was listening to a lot of the
Yeah.
same things, and I listened to it, and it is probably the most close to a Pink Floyd-esque modern album that you can get from a band. I mean, this album is I mean, it is as close to perfect as you can get for My Morning Jacket.
It's gorgeous. It's
Oh,
absolutely gorgeous. I thought it was a nice follow up to Waterfalls
too,
2,
yeah.
which I loved Waterfalls 2. And my friend Matt Gobel in Bend, Oregon, who I'm going to see this weekend, he probably the biggest My Morning Jacket fan that I know of. He's also a huge Pearl Jam fan, but I think those bands have a lot in common because of their live sets. They never play the same live set twice. They have, their incredible performances. They'll take a 4-minute song and turn it into a 12-minute, epic, just crazy guitar solos and just incredible live band. So, and I was happy to listen. I listened to that album on Sunday.
Hmm.
You listened to it Friday night. I listened to it on
Yeah.
Sunday, and it's just an incredible album. And so I've got a bunch of copies coming to our vinyl store. So at the winery, we actually started selling vinyl a
Wow.
couple of weeks ago, and I've got about 260 titles now. And so
For
you come
sale.
into our tasting room for sale. So we've got 3,000 plus albums that we listen to in the tasting room, but I actually, got us signed up with a couple of, one stops to be able to start selling vinyl. And I pre-ordered my morning jacket, and they came in on Monday, yesterday. Today's Wednesday.
Did
We got
you
it on Monday.
did you get like the multi? Because like I know that they've done
Yeah,
the
we got
multi.
got the colored one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. If you didn't get a copy of that, let me know. I
I
can send one out your way.
I appreciate. It's interesting. I sold a lot of my vinyl. Like I sold my entire collection about 3 years ago, just because we had a financial at that time. Like work was slow,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I've been and I have my record player still. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, should I get back into it? But let me just be more cautious about what I got, because I used to just buy anything back, and I think I might be more selective. But yeah, no, that's definitely one that I'd want. So it's such an amazing album. I would definitely, if you haven't heard it, I would highly recommend listening to it.
Yes. Agreed. Agreed.
So before we start talking
Awesome.
about any more new music or anything else, we are here tonight to talk about two songs, Hail Hail and All Those Yesterdays, which, interestingly enough, I thought I knew a lot about them, and I was completely wrong. Um, a couple things that are coming through. Matt says, I guess I must clear it up. Tony says 2006 tour was great with My Morning Jacket opening.
They were so
100% agree with
good.
that. Yes.
Yeah. Only time I remember walking away going, God damn, that first band may may have put Pearl Jam and give them a run for their money. You
Yeah,
know?
that is how I got hooked on him.
Yeah.
I saw My Morning Jacket open him for him 4 times in 2006. No, yeah, and then I got to see him a bunch of times. No, I'm sorry, 2 times, because there's that other. I saw him in Philly, and they had some other guy open up for him that was terrible. Or Pittsburgh, I'm sorry. But no, yeah, Mind Worn Jacket's amazing. I've seen them a bunch of times. I love them. But they were a great addition, like a great appetizer for Pearl Jam at that tour. I mean, Jim James has probably one of the most unique and perfect voices in music nowadays. So
And then
definitely.
his solo album, the Yim Yam solo album, I think is absolutely gorgeous.
Oh yeah,
I don't know if you know that one or not, but
oh, gotcha. I saw him solo in DC a couple years ago, and it was just it was just knock out of the park, perfect. Matt says, Trey, do you have the Ament coming in? I should be outside.
so I don't, but I'm talking to Tim Bierman about. I already have a decent selection of the Pearl Jam albums that you can get, but some of the stuff that's hard for me to get because the one stops don't get everything that comes to the pipeline, and they did not make a lot of copies of that Amen album, and so I'm hoping that Tim will actually sell me a few copies of that so I can then resell them at the taste room. So
Well, maybe by the next show, that could be
yeah,
something that you know a little bit more
for
about, and
sure.
then
Yep.
Matt, we can hook you up with Trey, and then you can be able to purchase it from Trey. So just keep an eye
He
out for
knows
that.
where to find me.
That's right. That's right. All right. So now let's talk about the first song this evening, "Hail, Hail," which, you know, I don't. I think I love that song so much more live than I do on the album. Like, and I enjoy it on the album, but live, that is a song that there's always the common phrase like it just makes you want to run through a wall. That song literally makes you want to run through a fucking wall.
Yeah. It's another great driving song. I've got a driving song playlist, and that song is on my driving song playlist. Um, it's just a fit of fury just coming straight at you, and it's like right out of the gate. It just hits you. There's no build up to that song. It just explodes immediately, and it's just awesome. And it encapsulates a lot of what I love about Pearl Jam, just the raw energy and Eddie's vocals, the way he sings that song, and I don't know, it's incredible.
So I'm gonna ask you a question. I don't want you to answer it, and everyone tuning in right now, drop your answers in the comments below, or if you're listening to the podcast, thinking about this, and then afterwards we can talk about it. How many times has this song been an opener? Think about that, and after we hear it live, we'll get those answers. So here is "Hail Hail" in Berlin in 2009.
Is that all we
Wow. Well. So
Was that the opener for that show?
for that one, no.
Okay. All right.
So how many times has Hail Hail opened in a show?
Are you asking me, or are you?
I am
waiting for the
asking you.
folks? Less than 5.
Wow. And let's go to the facts, shall we? Hail Hail. Facts. First of all, 4 times as an opener. We'll get to that in a minute. It was first played in... Go ahead.
I saw that show, 96 Showbox.
So you saw the first time Hail Hail was played at the Showbox CL on September 14th in 1996.
There we go.
It was last played Wrigley Field, Chicago, in August 18th of 2018. Weren't you there too?
No, I missed the Chicago. That was the only date of 18 I missed was the Chicago shows.
It's been played 243 times live. It's been an opener 4 times. The first time was on November 14th in 1997 in Oakland, California. The second time was in August 26th, 1998 in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio. Cuyahoga, whatever the hell. I don't know. I can barely read.
That's a song by REM. Cuyahoga. You know that song?
I do not know that song.
All right.
I'm like an REM fan, but I like all the popular songs. I never really dug deep. I'm being honest here. It was also played on September 1st, 1998 in Atlanta, Georgia. And then it opened Columbia, Maryland on September 18th, 1998. It's never closed a show. Corduroy is the most played song before it by 36 times, and Animal is the most played song after it, being played 49 times after that. Do you like my graphic? I worked really hard on this one.
No, it's a really good one. You're a very talented man, Anthony.
Oh, stop it.
Very talented. So I often wonder, I can't remember if we talked about this before, but does Eddie write a set list based off of his instruments or the band's instruments? Like, he's got a specific guitar in his hand, or Mike has a specific guitar in his hand, and he's like, look, for these next 3 songs, I know that we use these, so I'm going to put these. Or does that even come into play? I don't know.
It's got to. Because if you think about this, if you did, let's say, if 4 songs in a row were played in different tune, different instruments, different everything, in retrospect, it would just be so much work with a keep up on that, on the side stage, which in retrospect, that's what their job is, but
they all have their own. They all have their own tech. It's not like they're sharing one tech for all the guys. Every single one of those guys has their own tech, and so in 3 minutes, that guy can get his next guitar out based on the set list, and I don't know. That's a question. That's one for the fans.
Well, Brad says I'm sure he does. Tony says yes, he does, and Brad says, can people post set lists from techs that had instruments listed on the side? I don't know if my set list...
I actually have a set list I got from the soundboard one show. And it's obviously the same set list, but the notes on the set list were written by the soundboard guy and in a different pen, right? Because Eddie writes them in a black Sharpie.
Sure.
And these are just written in a normal pen. And so they're obviously making their notes as to what they need to do with each song coming up, reminders or whatever. So,
yeah, the only set list I have is the one my son got in Baltimore from Eddie, and it's funny because I forgot what song it was.
Bring your kids to the show if you want a set list and a tambourine.
Well, during Rearview Mirror, I saw him write something on it, and on next to Rearview Mirror it says no balls. Because they were having technical difficulty with the balls dropping, like from the, he counted. So he wrote no balls on it. It's hilarious. So I have on the set list, I have to pull, I wonder if I can grab it, but it does. It says no balls in Eddie and his handwritings.
That's hilarious.
My
That's
Stones.
a great song, though. I mean, what do you think about that?
With Hail Hail? So Hail Hail is definitely in my top 25 favorite Pearl Jam songs. Easily. Yeah. Live. I'm going to say that live. Off CD, it probably doesn't even break my top 40. I just feel like this is a better live song than it's been an album song, just for me. I don't dislike the song, but for some reason there just seems to be more passion and drive in the song, with Eddie clapping, with Mike feeling more into it, Stones playing. The drums feel more vivid and live, alive. I really appreciate this live.
I feel like he's always, like a lot of the songs, you feel like he's singing about the crowd or you, the fans, and he's like, talk about the lucky ones, or I mean, it makes you feel like, yeah, we're the lucky ones sitting right here.
100%.
So even though that the lyrics may not have anything to do with that experience, it's what you're feeling when you're singing it, and you're like,
sure,
are you my only one? And yeah, so
and in theory, being played 200 and what was it? 243 times. They've played, enough shows that there are just over 1,000, so 1,100. So it's about a 22% chance that you're going to see that live. So it's still a rarity in its own sense. It's not like an Even Flow or Alive or Yell Ledbetter or one of those songs, but it is still a rarity. I mean, it didn't make the 4 shows that were played this year. So it wasn't, that's something to think about too, because some of the songs, they played some rarities, but for the most part, they played songs that are very much wanted to be heard, minus the new songs.
They played the festival sets.
Correct. So this. Am I surprised this wasn't played? No. I think this is still a very good, good. It's a good song. If you've seen him probably 18 times, this might be a song you're still chasing. So it's a great song though. This is an amazing song live. I've seen it a couple times live and I enjoyed it every time. This is a song where it seems like they do mess up a tad more than others, but it is a great song live.
Yeah, and it's off of a great album too. So
yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Is this off your favorite Pearl Jam album?
It's off of one of my top 10 favorite Pearl Jam albums.
Oh man. All right. So let's go right into the next song. So we go
not an answer.
All right. Now we're going into one of my top 10 favorite Pearl Jam songs of all time. All Those Yesterdays is probably one of those songs that people resonate with. It's almost like Release in its own sense. Like people go to that for healing. It is a very special song in its own sense with that. I've had an opportunity. This was a song I chased for a long time. I didn't realize the rarity of it until I did the research on it. I thought this song was played much more than it actually has been. So let me ask you this: how many times has this song been an opener or a closer? Don't answer. I'll get your answer after we hear All Those Yesterdays in Washington in 1998.
Great choice.
Don't you think you ought to rest? Don't you think you ought to lay your head down? Don't you think you ought to sleep? Come on. Don't you think you ought to lay down tonight? Don't you think you've done enough?
you know,
Ooh,
such
that's a soul searching song right there. I mean, that's very much an introspective. It's like he's giving you the he's giving you the ability, or he's allowing you to um, take time for yourself. That's
correct.
what that song means to me. It's like he's just telling you it's okay to take time for yourself. It's okay to escape. So
Yeah, it is really such a beautiful song in its own context, and the lyrics have always been amazing. And I just love the break that change in the middle of the song where it's I don't know,
yeah.
it's such a beautiful song.
And listen, anytime you can see Stone do that duck walk,
Mm,
with the back and forth, that's like early Stone, right? I mean, I feel like he doesn't do that as much. Stone just sort of hangs out and just does his thing, and he gets like 4 guitar solos a show, and he that's what he gets, and he's happy with it. But back then, although he's always been a terrible dresser. I'm not gonna lie. That you see that show right there.
he
What
looked.
was that outfit?
I don't
What
that
was
was
that?
that was straight out of a Kmart calendar from 1994.
Listen, I mean, he could. 1998. He has much money to buy whatever he wanted. He could care less what he walked on stage with. He's like, "What's comfortable? This shirt looks good.
It's look good.
These shorts look great. There we
Yeah.
go. Well, I'm good."
So here, let me ask you this question: out of everyone in the band, who do you think puts the most thought into what they wear on stage?
I think Mike.
I think Jeff.
I mean, I'm not going to argue with you there. I'd say early Jeff, late Jeff. I don't know. I think Mike's a snappier dresser these days. I think back in the day with Jeff's hats and his, I don't know.
Just something
I
about
don't,
so.
know if any, I don't think any of them give a shit anymore about what they wear on stage. They wear the fuck they want to wear.
So I asked you a question before. How many times has this song been an opener and a closer? What's the number?
All those yesterdays, I don't think it's ever been an opener. That's gonna be my answer for the opener.
Okay.
As a closer, I don't know, 5 times.
That would be 0 and 0. And surprisingly
0 and 0.
enough, I think this could be a really good opener. I think this, but this, if you think about how the song, think about like if the band starts, Eddie's looking at it, picking up his book. It's got the intro. It's got a great like segue into other songs. I think this could be a great opener for a show. Just saying. So let's get to the facts.
I wouldn't be angry if they opened with that song, but I wouldn't be angry if they opened with any song because that means you're just watching them live. So
That's
there
right.
we go. Hey, have they ever opened with Yellow Ledbetter? That's a better question.
Oh, I doubt that. Let me check. Hold on a second.
What if they did that? What if they did that? What if they came out and opened with Yellow Ledbetter? It would blow people's minds.
I don't. I think I'd be confused because it's one of those things. Like really, like I don't. Let's see. Yell Ledbetter. It has been played a total of 374 times. That's it. 374. Wow.
That's only about a third. That's about a 33% chance of.
And it's been a closer 339 times. It's never been an opener.
All right.
All right. So I guess we'll never have to do that for a show because we teased everything. So all right, let's go to all those yesterday song facts. First played June 21st, 1998 at the Canyons Park in Park City, Utah. It was last played at Safeco Field in Seattle, Washington in August 18th, 2018. I believe you were there.
I was there for that.
It's only been played 21 times live.
That's not a lot.
No. Yellow Moon, Given to Fly, Unthought Known are the most played songs beforehand 2 times. That's it.
I mean, that tells you right there. I mean, if Yellow Moon is the song played before, I mean, 21 times live is not many. So,
yeah.
I mean, look this up. How many times has Yellow Moon been played?
Let me double check. Let me pull
I
that
like
up.
That song.
Yellow Moon's a great song. I've actually had the opportunity to see
I like
that.
that song a lot.
Yellow Moon has only been played 26 times. Actually, 5 more times than all.
than all those yesterdays.
Yes, crazy. That is absolutely.
You know what that is though? That's a combination of, when that album came out, they probably played a lot of shows and they wanted to play a lot of the songs off that album.
Yeah, well, it was 2013. Well, I mean, it was played 17 times in 2013 and 5 times in 2014, 1 time in 2015, 2 times in 2016, 1 time in 2018. It was popular in 2013 and 2014 when they did that heavy touring for the album. Yeah. Correct. Yeah. So, interesting. Even Flow, Daughter, and Black are the most played songs after it by 2 times. And here is a real crazy stat. You have a 2% chance of seeing it live if you go see one show a tour.
There we go. That's not much.
No, that's a low number. That is a chaser. Now we've talked about it. You've seen it live because you saw it at least we know we saw it in Boston together in 2016. Yeah. But that's a great.
I'd have to see the shows that they've actually played that live at. Yeah.
Well, listen. Here's the great thing.
Yeah.
Livefootsteps.org, which we're going to jump into a commercial for them in a second because they have been providing our facts for this show since day one. Actually, do you mind if we jump into a commercial for them real quick?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it real quick.
Now there's a fucking commercial break on this show?
Oh, yeah, we have commercial breaks. Listen, I try to make this the most organized show ever. You ready for this? Here. Ready? Nope, wrong song. You like that?
That was my morning jacket.
I know. Take a walk down the hall. Follow those footsteps back to yesteryear or all the way back to the off-ramp. Live Footsteps did, what they had to bring you a Setlist archive of Pearl Jam live statistics. It's searchable, customizable, and personalized stats so you can find what you're looking for. Find that obscure songs, play count, debut, its tags, intros, rarity index, and much more. Discover Setlist, song, and show stats, venue, and location breakdowns all at your fingertips. Check out livefootsteps.org to satisfy your Pearl Jam curiosity. Me and Trey have been using livefootsteps.org now for over a year. Since the incarnation of the show, all of our stats have been coming directly from livefootsteps.org. So definitely go check that out. Boom. What do you think?
Look at that. Now listen, I want my cut. That was a commercial break. I know that they're paying you big money, Anthony. I want my cut of that money.
We are getting paid $0 for that. We are helping him more.
Listen, how cool is that? So why don't you shine some light on this? Who is behind footsteps.org?
Yeah, so his name's Dave.
If they want to be outed,
Sure. Well, here's the thing. So tomorrow, Destined to Remember, it's a show that me, Randy from Live on Four Lakes podcast, and Dave from Live Footsteps, we get together and we're going to break down the entire tour. Go over stats. We're going to go over what albums were played, what albums weren't played, what songs were played, what songs weren't played. Break some more information down. We'll probably I'll probably bring the question up to Randy tomorrow because he is a stats guy about instrument swapping like we talked about tonight during songs, and is that heavily noticed if they play certain songs because of the way instruments are. But yeah, no, Dave has built this site, and I mean, it is in depth. Like you click a song, you go there.
Dave who?
Dave, Jantausch. I can't say his last name. Jantusk.
Sure, that sounds.
But he's an amazing guy. Man, it is.
I'm gonna thank Dave. I'm just gonna thank Dave right here for putting together all this information because that's a treasure trove of information for Pearl Jam fans to be able to dive into and geek out about. And we were watching the video for all those yesterdays, and in my head I thought, I wonder if you could find a stat where it's like from the most played song to the least played song, and you just answered my question. Now
livefootsteps.org
to go.
That's right.
So thank you, Dave, for all of your work on putting that stuff together.
Yeah, I'll have to introduce you. I think you guys would get along real well. I got to meet him at See Her Now festival.
Where does he live?
Connecticut, I believe. Or New York or Connecticut.
It's nowhere near Washington.
I live in Virginia and moving to Kansas City. You live in Washington, and I think at some point our paths are going to cross.
Well, it's probably going to happen.
That's what I'm saying.
I think so.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Going to the things. Was Single Video Theory doc released before Yield? I believe so. If I remember, the VHS tape was out before the album was, wasn't it? Because I remember going to Pineapples and getting it.
So you went to where?
Pineapples. That was the name of the
Not Turtles. You went
No.
to Pineapples?
Pineapples. That was the name of the record store.
That's awesome.
And then Pineapples bought. Do you remember the Wall? Did you have a Wall out there?
No.
Okay, so Pineapples bought the Wall.
We had Tower Record in Washington. We had Tower Records.
Yep.
In Atlanta, where I grew up, we had Turtles, and Turtles was where you went to go get Turtles records and tapes. That's where you went to go buy your tickets. From Ticketmaster, we would sleep overnight. This is pre Pearl Jam, of course. We would, if there was a concert coming up, tickets always went on sale on Saturday morning, and so Friday nights, many Friday nights were spent on the sidewalk in front of Turtles Records with lots of good friends, and then at 8 or 9 a.m., whenever Turtles opened, and they would be on their keyboards, whatever the hell, I don't even know what it was in 1986. I mean, whatever they were using, that's what they were like punching their tickets up with, right?
Yep.
And so you were just like praying that they were the first one into the system. And then they would hand you your tickets and you look at it and you're like, yes, second row, Motley Crue or whatever it was, right? So it was an awesome time. I kind of missed that because now we're keyboard warriors, and with all the other, the bot that can come in and buy everything, it's not the same feeling. I'd rather have to go camp out for tickets. I'm not kidding. At 52 years old, I'd rather go camp out for 51, almost 52.
Well,
so
I'm going to tell you something too, and I'm excited about this. My buddy Brian, who I went to school with, he wrote the algorithm for Ticketmaster and Live Nation for how they do their ticket sales nowadays. He's coming on the show in January. I don't know if this show, maybe this show, I have no, a show. He's a Pearl Jam fan as well, not as big as us, but he's going to talk about how Ticketmaster changed and the algorithm and how you have a better chance of getting tickets if you do certain things.
Well, I mean, let's make sure we have a pre-conference call with that so we can, figure out what those hacks are.
Oh, it's not hacks. It's really like, it's simple things. I mean, he's helped me out so many times. I got Roger Order VIP tickets that went on sale last week, and I followed exactly what he told me to. I did exactly what he did, and I was able to get tickets. Not a single issue. It sold out seconds later.
To go see who?
Roger Waters.
That's going to be amazing.
Yeah, I'm taking my son. My son's starting to get into Pink Floyd, so I was like, well, I'll take you go see Roger Waters in Kansas City.
You need to digest a lot more than that if your son's getting into Pink Floyd, my friend. So,
well, I think the thing is with him is like I think he's trying to find ways to connect besides because I mean I appreciate his soccer and stuff, but I don't know nothing about it still. So I think this is his way of like getting into it, and also like it's
with you.
Oh yeah, but I also think like, have you realized like it's very popular now for kids to wear a band shirt of like bands they have no idea. Yeah, it's.
Oh, my 15, almost 16-year-old is constantly stealing all my Pearl Jam t-shirts. Which is awesome. I mean, she's spreading the Pearl Jam love amongst the Walla Walla High School kids, So.
Yeah, well,
yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Well, before we move on from all of those yesterdays, Shannon Majoey says, I saw Yellow Moon. Oh, she's talking about Yellow Moon at ACL 2014. Magic, the Moon was rising as Pearl Jam played the song just above the video screen. That's pretty amazing. Tony says, still chasing it. It was scratched off of Alpine Pearl Jam 20. Ah, that's right. It was because, yeah, that was when people were getting pissed that Chris Cornell was there because they started scratching off some of these songs.
Who was pissed that Chris Cornell was at a Pearl Jam 20? Are you serious?
There was a lot of people upset. I mean, I
Who's
loved
gonna
it.
Be upset they played like 3 Temple the Dog songs.
No, they played more than 3 Temple of Dog songs that night.
We were the first night we've talked about this before, but I was with my friend Dave Place. We were as far back as you could possibly get within that venue. We were almost to the fence. There was no reason for us to be back there, but that's just where we were. We didn't have seats that night. We were GA. We're like, well, if we're gonna be GA, it's just look at the screen because it's no different than looking at those tiny people on stage.
Correct.
It's raining. We didn't care. We were just air guitar and singing our hearts out by ourselves out in the field out there. And but yeah, I don't remember. That's interesting that people would be upset that Chris Cornell was there singing those songs. But
Yeah, well, people what like Jim Morrison said, people are strange. You know? That's what I'm saying.
people are strange.
Now, let's a lot has happened theoretically with news and Pearl Jam and so much recently. Surprisingly, a lot of rumors were going around that Pearl Jam was going to open up the new venue in Seattle. That wasn't the case. And on the 30th anniversary of Pearl Jam playing their first show, Coldplay played up there. Were you there?
No.
Are you a Coldplay fan?
I mean, it's a guilty pleasure band. Like, I enjoy the songs that you hear on the radio,
Sure.
but I haven't gone out and purchased any album to do a deep dive into them. I did watch their cover, and yeah, it was good.
Now I have the video here. Do you want to watch it or do you just want to talk about it?
Sure. Yes. Listen.
We're actually doing really good on time. We're only at 50 minutes and we've gone through two songs already.
It's record time already.
I think so. I think because you know what it is. I'm not drunk. I'm not drinking as much, so I'm not babbling nearly as much as I did in the past episodes. All right. So this is the story and then the song. It's about 5 minutes long. Let's listen to it. And then I want people's feedback. Did you appreciate Chris Martin playing a Nirvana song, a Pearl Jam song that night? Or should he have just kept the Coldplay? What do you think of the song? I want your opinions. Give them to us during the song. We'll throw your comments up on the screen. Here we go.
So because we're here in Seattle, we wanted to pay tribute to all of the bands that we fell in love with when we were just young teenagers in the 90s. And so this is a cover version, this song. But maybe don't upload it onto YouTube because it's not going to be the best cover version. It's really just a tribute. You know what I mean? This is not Adele singing "Make You Feel My Love." This is not what you're about to see. This is a 44-year-old man remembering how much he fell in love with Pearl Jam in 1991. And if you told that kid he would be here singing this song, the kid would have said, "Are you sure that's a good idea?" And I would have said, "Maybe not," but we're doing it. And so for this, please welcome from the drum kit all the way down to the B stage here to play piano on a song that I only made him learn like 25 minutes ago. This is our incredible anchor of a drummer, Mr. Will Champion. Let's bring him down the catwalk. Once divided, nothing left to subtract. Some words once spoken can't be taken back. Walks on his own with thoughts he can't help thinking. Futures above, but in the past he's slow and sinking. Caught a bolt of lightning, she never let it go. Nothing man, nothing man. Isn't it something? Nothing. a story I had to tell. One day she stiffened and took the other side. Empty stairs through each corner of a prison cell. One just escapes, one stays inside the well. And he who forgets will be destined to remember nothing man, nothing man. Isn't it something? Nothing man. Oh, nothing man. Nothing man. Isn't it something? Nothing man. Thanks, Will. If Eddie ever hears this, I love you, man. Thank you for being so kind to our band. Nothing, man. Nothing, man. Isn't it something? Nothing, man. All right, Will, hit it.
So there's a lot of negativity coming through the chat room right now about this, but I want to.
It's terrible.
See,
I mean, listen.
it's
Pearl
not
Jam Pearl Jam covers so many songs.
sure.
You can't have a bunch of hate for somebody covering a Pearl Jam song. It's not going to be if it's not as good as Eddie is what they expect.
Yeah.
It is what it is. But
Well, and I feel like he made it his own too in his own sense. Like it was definitely Coldplay playing a Pearl Jam song.
yes, and if you hate Coldplay, you're probably going to hate that song.
Correct. So
But
let me
But
go ahead.
that was I just feel like he was like being pretty honest about that. Like he said he was a 13 or 14-year-old kid in 1991. You imagine what you were like when did that same time frame listening to Pearl Jam like you're a fan. So I don't know. I mean,
So
you know,
the story behind this is a buddy of mine that I know went to the show, and he knew that I was going through a lot on Saturday, and he FaceTimed me, and he's like, "I think he's gonna sing a Pearl Jam song," and he did. And this song, if you've ever seen Big Fish and the whole meaning behind it, and then losing, it was something neat. Listen, was it the perfect song? No. I mean, it's definitely Chris Martin singing a Pearl Jam song and trying to make it different in its own sense. Because listen, Nothing Man is a hard song to sing. He couldn't hit the notes that Eddie hits. It's kind of like, Eddie can't hit the notes Chris Cornell can hit. I mean, people sing differently. I don't hate it. But I don't love it either. But I appreciate the fact that he was honest in the beginning, saying, "Hey, this is not going to be perfect. I wouldn't even put this on YouTube. Enjoy this for what it is. This is for Eddie. You are an inspiration to the band. Thank you." That I thought from that, I take it for what it is.
I agree with you completely.
Well,
I mean,
and for everyone saying sorry right now to me, you don't have to say sorry. Everything is good. Everyone, listen. I appreciate your honesty about things, and I'd rather you be honest with me than butter me up for no reason. So it is what it is. I enjoyed it. I'm not a huge. I think Coldplay's new album is absolutely dog shit. But I like. I do love the earlier stuff. So take that for what it is. So talking about
the fact that you actually listened to Coldplay's new album.
Well, here's the thing. It's kind of like Kings of Leon for me. Like I want them to be what they were. So I'm hoping like the new album will give me like a resonant of that. Like give me something. So
you
from
like
that.
Old Coldplay?
Oh, I do love old Coldplay. I saw old Coldplay quite a few times.
Old Coldplay. Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Dude, like I mean, you're talking about like clocks. I mean, parachutes. I mean, those are. I mean,
Great
those are.
songs.
Oh God, let me. Hopefully, my wife's not listening. The amount of times those songs were used in my single days for women is countless. Like those were perfect albums to romanticize a woman. It's it's good stuff. It's good stuff. I'm not even drunk and I'm still opening my foot in mouth. But no, it's I did listen to a new album and it took me 3 listens to get through the whole thing. And unfortunately,
3 listens to understand that it was dog shit.
oh no, I didn't listen to all the songs 3 times. I listened, I stopped. A couple days later, I'm like, let me finish it, and then I got through it. I'm like, no. Then I listened to the whole thing. I'm like, fuck no. It's kind of like what Kings of the Lane went through. They went too commercial too quickly, and they had to keep that commercial fade for them to sell out. To like, if you watch that video, no one's singing the lyrics to Nothing Man because those people don't listen to that kind of music. They listen to what's on the radio. And Coldplay's songs that are off the album that are hits, that's what they know word for word.
That's a great analogy, is that the people who show up for those shows for a Coldplay concert want to hear what they know from the radio.
Yeah.
People who go to a Pearl Jam concert want to hear the stuff they don't hear on the radio. And
Correct.
let's be honest, there's not much played on the radio from Pearl Jam these days anyway, unless you listen to classic rock. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
the new album isn't getting a bunch of play, right?
No.
So it's just they happen to have a deep fan base. So there's a reason Grateful Dead still sell out every show, no matter where they are.
Correct.
And it's not based off their last 5 albums. It's based off the fact that people know what they're going to get, and the fans know what they're going to get, and the fans are the ones they're supporting them.
Yeah.
And Pearl Jam is that way these days.
Correct.
It's not to say that their last album isn't great. I think their last album is great. I really do. I really appreciate their last album.
Yeah. Shannon knocks it out of the park. Coldplay is a top 40 artist. And it's correct. And listen, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. There's
Casey Kasem made a living off that for 30 years. So.
Oh, 100%. His body is still being dragged around the world trying to wait to be buried as his family and his ex-wife fight over custody of his dead body.
Who is?
Casey Kasem.
I want to hear the story.
You don't know the Casey Kasem story? Okay, I'll make it quick.
I have no idea.
Okay, so Casey Kasem passed away. I'll have to find out when it was. Hold on a second. Let me look this up because it was bad. Casey Kasem passed away. He had been remarried to somebody that like his kids didn't get along with. Casey Kasem, here we go. So his wife and kids were battling over custody. He died in 2014. Battling over custody of the body to bury it because what happened was his will had circumstances in it that like whoever buried it got more money. So his wife and kids were so like the kids would get custody and then the wife would file a subpoena and then the wife would get custody of the body. So the body was literally being shipped all over the country and then she's foreign, I believe, if I remember, and like was getting shipped. So his body was literally just being shipped all over the world until finally, I believe, the wife cremated him and scattered the ashes somewhere. But it was like a year and a half of the body totally being shipped all around the world for ownership of who owned the body of Casey Kasem.
How Casey Kasem's ashes weren't pressed into vinyl is beyond me.
Yeah, this is Casey Kasem, and you're listening to. Oh God,
that's what's up. See, that's gonna be me. So anybody wants a 45 of Trey Bush ashes, check back in with me in 50 years. I hope.
Well, listen, talking about albums and top albums, an article came out recently that talked about Eddie Vedder's favorite Beatles album. It was an article written about what his favorite Beatles album was and why. Eddie Vedder said that his favorite album was the White Album, and that it was because this is almost a textbook for someone born in 1964. Are you surprised that it is his favorite Beatles album?
I mean, Let It Be is being re-released right now. They're going through. I actually pre-ordered a bunch of copies of it, but for me, even though it's the last Beatles album, and I know that there's a great documentary coming out right now.
I can't wait. Yeah.
I cannot wait. It's going to be incredible. And I think, if you're a Beatles fan in any way, shape, or form, you've all seen the live concert on top Apple Records,
Studios, yeah.
which was Apple Studios, which is their last live performance. But just and I think was it the guy who did King Kong, right? Peter.
Yeah, Peter. I was about to say Frampton. No, Peter.
Green? No, not Peter Green. He's Fleetwood Mac. Peter, whatever.
Let's just say Peter Frampton, because I think Peter Frampton sounds better.
Not Peter Frampton. not Peter Pumpkin Eater. But anyway, so Tony Bounds likes the White Album.
Yep.
Shannon's likes the White Album.
Yeah,
But
your wife said.
Let it be.
And your wife says no, lover, to you being cremated into a 45. By the way.
Well, listen, it's gonna. We're gonna.
Off air.
We're gonna die the exact same time when we're both 100 years old. So that's what's gonna happen.
Oh man.
but let it be, and that live performance on top of Apple Studios, and that album in general. And I know the strife that they were going through. To me, I love that album. It's an incredible album, and I cannot wait to watch this documentary.
Yeah, and Peter Jackson is the person who did it.
Peter
and yeah, you were 100% correct on that. Yeah, you couldn't be more right. Oh, no to advertising the 45s. I guess you can be cremated into them. You can't advertise them.
By the way, they're going to be for sale for
for the low price of $2,045.
$2,000. No.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean there is, and Ryan is correct. The White Album is a double album, so much material to choose from. Tony makes a great point. From Helter Skelter to Blackbird, While My Guitar Gently Weeps. I mean, there is that's a pretty damn perfect album.
Let's be honest. Let's take the entire catalog. 7 years.
It's insane.
7 years, start to finish. Right, and
yeah.
they're recognized as the greatest band ever to exist in 7 years. Here we are chasing a band for 31 years, 30 years, whatever we're at now.
31.
We like to think that, it's our favorite band, which it is. It's my favorite band for sure. But to see the catalog that the Beatles put out in such a short amount of time, given the restraints that they had with technology, right? And then as technology advanced in that very short amount of time, the things that they discovered and
sure,
they really were an incredible band. Tony Bounds is a big Rolling Stones fan, and I know he's seen them already at least once or twice this year.
Wow.
And the Stones are also an incredible band from the exact same time frame. They're, we're talking 50 plus years now with that band. And we've got Paul McCartney still around, and we've got Ringo still around. But
see, and why? And listen, the Rolling Stones don't have a drummer and a bassist. Wouldn't it make sense just to throw them all together? Like, couldn't we just get like that mashup? Just saying.
That's so good. Can you imagine? Oh, that's a $1 billion idea right there, Anthony.
I just thought of it.
Just go and throw Ringo in on the drums, and throw Paul in on the bass, and go on tour. And basically, all you do is play Beatles and Stones songs.
Fuck yeah! I'd pay $400 for that fucking ticket. You kidding me?
Dude, I'm telling you right now. You could do a world tour 1 year, $1,000 a ticket. No matter where you are, forget about it.
Oh, 100% agree with you. It's fucking, and the crazy thing about it too is, right, if you think about like that in general, like they literally could play just New York and LA and do a residency there for 2 weeks, and they would sell out every night, no issues whatsoever.
Oh, people would travel from all over the world to go see the shows. Yes.
Correct. I don't know how, dude. It just fucking hit me. Look, Tony Bounds. Holy shit, genius. Ryan, nice call. I'm telling you.
Listen, email their managers.
You know what?
Get something going.
Paul, what are you doing this weekend? You have Ringo's number? You want to give him a call? Yeah, I think a good idea. Let's get you and Mick and the boys. They got some holes in their band. I think we should fill them.
Listen,
all right. Thank you.
Anthony, you
Yes.
made first mistake. It's Macca. Come on.
Oh,
Jesus. He hung up on you on Paul.
I did, I just. All right, so let me go. With that being said, I want to give you the other 12 albums of his top 13 albums for Eddie Vedder, and then I'm going to throw a challenge at you for the next episode. The 13 favorite albums of Mr. Edward Vedder. White Album, Jackson 5's third album, The Who's Tommy. This one was a surprise. The Ramones' Road to Ruin. That is not my favorite Ramones album, so I'm surprised that he picked that because, yeah, it is what it is. Talking Heads, more song about buildings and food, music and rhythm, Sonic Youth, Daydream and Nation, Jim O'Rourke, Insignificance, Fugazi, 13 songs, that's in my top 13. Yeah. Soundgarden, Screaming Life, Mudhoney, Tom Watts, Nighthawks at the Diner, Pixies, Surfer Rosa.
Yeah, Surfer Rosa, yeah. That's, how do you argue? That's a pretty solid top 13 right there.
So I am going to challenge you. Next episode, your top 13 favorite albums of all time, my top favorite 13 albums of all time, and we break them down.
Okay, I'm down.
All right.
That's a great one.
Listen, I'm trying to be more topic-driven oriented and more organized as the show grows.
I like that, and it makes it more personal, and we can share some stories about each album. So are we saying that we're not going to, next episode, we're not going to break down a Pearl Jam song?
Not two songs. One song, one Pearl Jam song, bottle of wine, and 13 favorite albums of all time.
Okay.
What do you think?
Yeah, I'm down.
And then 13, I am going...
13?
13. Well, that's what Eddie did, so I figured 13, unless you want to do 10.
No, 13's fine.
Okay. And then I am going to go to Ryan Blackwell and say, I want you to pick a Pearl Jam song, because you've never picked a song, and you've watched the last couple episodes. Pick the song we're going to listen to and talk about for the next episode. So as soon as we get that, as long as we haven't done it already, that will be the one for the next episode. So I'll wait till that comes through, and then we'll talk about that. So we talked about Coldplay, check. We talked about the top 13 albums, check. Are you a Ted Lasso fan?
So it's on what's the
Apple TV,
Hulu or Apple TV. I think Hall and I watched the first couple episodes, and we just never dived back into it. And then by that time, we've given up our subscription.
Well, you're gonna.
It's great.
Yeah, I'll give you my username and login.
Jason, please do, because Jason Sudeikis on SNL last weekend. That was one of my favorite SNL episodes of all time.
Really,
and probably my favorite opening. Him coming out and just giving his opener and talking about how special that place was. He laid it out. He's like, this is 40 something years of, he's like, John Belushi walked on this floor, just laid it out. I thought it was a very, very well done opener. And I felt like the entire episode was great. And I love Jason. He's a great actor anyway. And he's a very funny guy. So,
well, you're going to have to get into it because in one of the more recent episodes, Ted Lasso refers to competition talking to his team and asks his assistant coach, can he give him some examples of competition? And the examples were David versus Goliath, Rocky versus Apollo, or how about Pearl Jam versus Ticketmaster, where Ted Lasso responds, classic battle of arts versus commerce right there.
Art versus commerce.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Mm-hmm. So you're going to have to check that out. And
yeah, for sure.
You're going to have to. We'll work that out. And then keeping on the topic of TV shows, I don't know if you're a fan of the show Pawn Stars, but recently a Pearl Jam item was brought in for a ridiculous amount of money. Huh?
Say that again.
Pawn Stars. P-A-N-W stars. Not the porn, not like... Not this, but selling.
It's your accent.
And maybe it's my accent, or maybe I just don't know how to talk.
I'm like, what show are you watching?
Yeah, you know, it's
on.
I watch
Pawn?
Pawn Stars until about 12,
Pawn.
and then 12:01 I go to Porn Stars.
There we go. On. All right, I gotcha.
So
All right,
on an
so
episode,
what came up?
well, this is interesting. So there's been an item on eBay for about 2 years of this gentleman. His name's Dave. Is selling this hand-painted piece that glows in the dark, says Pearl Jam on it. It's a piece of art he's been selling. He's been trying to get a ton of money for it. It's a one of one, but the band signed it. So he went to the store and tried selling it for $20,000 fucking dollars. They had some appraisal, person that looked at the autographs and the artwork, and basically came back and said this thing's not worth no more than $6,000, which made me think, like, if that's worth $6,000, what does a show poster that's signed by the entire band worth?
Right.
Just a thought.
Is there a follow up to that, or because I've got a few of them?
Well, the guy asked.
I'm looking to retire. I'm looking to retire, Anthony.
Yeah, you might,
This
because the guy asked
$20,000 for a
but it was appraised at 6,000. But even still, 6,000. And I know that recently, the most recent full band signed print was purchased in New Jersey for $1,000. I know the person who bought it. And I know that was a steal, because I still think $1,000 is very undervalued for a band signed print. But yeah, I mean, $6,000 is a lot of money for a full size.
That's
For
a lot of money. But look, Pearl Jam has signed over their entire career a lot of merchandise. A lot. You know, box sets, albums, you name. Yeah, Tony Bounds, rub it in our face. I know you got to go to Rome to see Pearl Jam live because you want a fucking concert. I get it. I know. It was amazing. I was so happy for you when Tony emailed or texted our group, and he's like, "Holy shit, I'm going to Rome. I won the Pearl Jam." I'm like, "No way," and he did. It was amazing. I was so happy for him.
We're gonna have to get Tony to tell that story one day.
Yeah, but look, Pearl Jam has signed a lot of stuff, and again, that's one of the things that we love about this band. Is that they will sign stuff for you. And, you know, if you have I'm not saying if your elementary school has an auction and you email them that they're going to reply, but I do know that there's someone listening to that stuff.
Sure.
And they are thoughtful in their replies. And, you know, they understand the impact that they're going to have. And so they support a company, a nonprofit in Seattle called the Vera Project. And our winery has sponsored the wine for their gala they have every year. And I bought a few things from the Vera Project, non-Pearl Jam related, that lots of musicians have donated stuff to. And so they're, you know, we know that Pearl Jam is in the giving spirit. And the fact that some guy's trying to get $20,000 for a signed print that really has nothing to do with the band, you know, tells you, I guess that guy appraised it at $6,000. I doubt he sold it at $6,000. So,
No, the guy didn't even buy it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
So, well, let's get into something else, because that's always funny. So, listen, I feel like this year's been a really good year for new music. I've enjoyed a lot of new albums coming out this year. What have you been listening to recently?
Well, what did we talk about 2 weeks ago? Do you remember?
Oh, shit. No idea.
All right. So for me, the new Strand of Oaks album, I don't know if you've gotten into that at all. Are you familiar with that band at all?
A little bit, but not heavily.
All right. So Strand of Oaks, you know, this goes into the sort of new Band of Horses. By the way, Band of Horses has a new album coming out, which I'm very excited about.
January 11th. I'm very excited.
Yeah, and I've pre-ordered a bunch of copies of that. But Strand of Oaks, well, Tony Bounds, the new War on Drugs album comes out on my birthday, which obviously.
Wait, your birthday's in 2 days?
It's on 2 days.
God.
It's on Friday. What'd you get me, Anthony?
Oh, I drank a thing of wine.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Oh,
you,
man.
you threw some carbohydrates behind your non-carb diet. I appreciate
Yes,
that.
yes.
But I cannot wait to hear the entire new War on Drugs album. They've already released, I think, 2 or 3 songs on Spotify, which you can listen to, and I purchased some of those. But the new Strand of Oaks album is absolutely incredible. And so it's called In Heaven, and the lead singer, his name is Timothy. He goes by Tim, I believe. He lives in Austin now. They were from Philadelphia, which is where War on Drugs is from, by the
Okay.
way.
Interesting.
But the Strand of Oaks album has a lot of that Band of Horses feel to it. And so I think that if you're into Band of Horses, you will 100% be into Strand of Oaks. The new album, their last album even was incredible, but their new album In Heaven is absolutely beautiful. And I feel like it's Wednesday. I just released my wine club vinyl club release, and so I got a special edition from Strand of Oaks and Timothy that we released for our vinyl club with a special pressing that
Wow.
they did for us. And so those got mailed out yesterday to our vinyl club. For those of you who are listening and you're picking up, hopefully, thank you, Shannon. Hopefully you are listening and you're going to be excited about this new album. But it's really one of my favorite albums of the year. Another band that Matt Gobel from Bend, Oregon turned me on to last year. And it's just really a gorgeous album. So Strand of Oaks, In Heaven, go check it out. That's my pick of the day.
So,
How about you?
yeah, well, I actually have something for you to listen to.
Yeah.
I am very excited about this. This is an artist I found about last year. He dropped a teaser to his album. This guy toured with Charles Bradley, was a backup singer for him for years. And he put out a song.
R.I.P. Charles Bradley.
Oh, God, he was so talented.
He was so talented.
It was ridiculous. And it's crazy that his popularity didn't gather until later in life. Because
he was for sure like a legacy. They call him a legacy artist, right? Like this guy's been touring for 50 years, 60 years, got no street cred, no one's paying attention. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, people started listening to Charles.
Yeah.
I think this is another KEXP plug, but my favorite radio station in the country, KEXP out of Seattle, they played a lot of Charles Bradley's last album. And I feel like they sort of pushed that to the forefront where people started recognizing him. So when he actually went on tour, he actually had people showing up for these shows and stuff.
Yeah, the 3 times I saw him in Virginia, which was back in 2013. I mean, they were packed out, sold out all 3 times. Amazing, and he had such a great band, and it was amazing. It was absolutely.
He reminded me of Memphis, right? So Memphis Soul, the old Memphis Soul record. That's what I think of Charles Bradley.
Well,
So who's this guy?
so the gentleman, he was a part of Rockin' for a Cure. I've interviewed him in the past. Paul and the Tall Trees. They have a new album coming out, and he released his first song yesterday. And there is just a rawness and a realism to the way he plays and sings. I want you to listen to this, and I want your honest opinion. If you don't like it, tell me. If you love it, tell me. But I want you to listen and tell me what you think. You ready?
I'm ready.
Here we go.
One more time. Sorry. It's okay. Take your time. Got it. Here we go.
I know you missed some of that because you got dropped off or something. Something happened.
I did, but you know what? It's incredible that you mentioned the needs of Charles Bradley because just the opening keyboard
Mm.
notes of that song just remind me of that sound, and that's very soulful. That's for me. It has a Memphis soul sound to it.
Yeah.
I have no idea where they're from or
So
where
he
they recorded it.
originally from New York. He resides in Texas. Super awesome guy. They played, like I said, they played a couple songs for Rockin' for a Cure in April. I mean, and I mean, this guy is. I can't wait to see him live. This is someone like I am just. I can't. But that when I heard that yesterday, I was like, holy shit! Like this year's just been out of the park. Just great music coming out between that the new. I've heard the new Band of Horses a couple weeks ago when I saw them live. They played like 4 songs off the new album. That was amazing. The new St. Vincent's phenomenal. The new My Morning
Yeah.
Jacket's ridiculous. I mean, it's just there's so much good stuff coming out this year.
Well, as it should be. I mean, we've gone through a shitload of trauma the past 18 months. And so it's been a very creative period, I think, for a lot of artists. And we're just sort of starting to see that right now. I'll tell you the backup with a lot of artists right now is the vinyl backup. The reality of trying to get a record pressed.
Yeah.
Um, I'm dealing with that with my record club for my wine club right now. You're 9 to 12 months out.
Wow.
If you say, great, here's my finished product, here it is, you're 9 to 12 months out from seeing physical copies of a vinyl album.
Do you want to
And
invest in opening a record press in place? I feel like this could be
yeah,
profitable.
it could be. The problem is the machinery just is not available. I mean, listen, most of the stuff is being uh, produced in the you know, like Yugoslavia
Yeah.
and Poland and in places like that where these old pressing plants are still in existence.
Hmm.
It's not like they're really building new pressing plants. They're bringing old ones out of production. But last week I saw a stat that um, vinyl sales year over year, this is 2021 over 2020, so far are up over 90%.
Jesus Christ.
Okay. And this is in 2020, vinyl sales eclipsed CD sales for the first time since 1994, 95. So the fact that it took, 20 something years, 24, 25 years to get back to where they were and then to almost double that in a year is incredible.
That is.
And I've had some conversations with folks who work on the vinyl side of things, and in the music business in general. Um, oh, that's interesting, Shannon. One CD only for Pandora, but the vinyl is not necessarily a money maker for the artist.
Sure.
It's a way for the label to push their music out to the consumer so they hopefully go see them live, go buy their merchandise. They see some money from the sale of vinyl. But uh, it, it it's amazing to me how vinyl has not just had a resurgence, but just been so strong worldwide that uh, it's almost impossible to go get stuff pressed anymore. I'm
Interesting.
trying to. I'll sell through. I'll have 2 or 3 copies of. Um, you know, I'll give you an example. I bought 2 copies of the Wu-Tang Clan, right, for my tasting room. This is weird. Wu-Tang Clan. They both sold in like 3 days. I went to go back to reorder it. They're gone.
Wow.
They're not there.
Interesting.
So I'm now I'll have to wait like another 5 or 6 months until it's back in stock, right? Because it's not like they go out and press 1 million copies of a 25-year-old album, right? They sort of get back in line because they don't know how much they're going to sell of anything. It's a very interesting business model, and it's got to be if you're Easy Street Records like Matt Vaughn. I'm like, God, what a crazy way to navigate
What you get and what you
your
don't
business.
get.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, anyway.
Well, listen, Trey. First of all, Ryan, you got to pick a song, buddy. We're getting to the end of the show. We need to know what song are we going to talk about next month. Also, the last Wednesday of next month, I am going to be in Houston. So
Yeah,
we
let's
either
go look at some dates here. So
let's do this. We can either do
last week. Well, first of all, the last Wednesday is the 24th,
correct, which is not going to work.
Thanksgiving the 25th. Can we move it to the 23rd?
I will be in Houston from the 23rd to the 28th.
All right. Do you not want to do you? Okay. So can we do the 22nd?
Yeah, that or the 30th.
30th is fine too. I'm down with the 30th.
Let's do the 30th because that gives us more time. So the 30th,
right.
we'll do the song Ryan picks, which I haven't heard anything. He's got a minute before we have to pick it ourselves. And then we're going to do our top 13 albums of all time.
Yes.
And then what are we going to drink?
What are we going to drink?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of what we have not consumed yet. Have we had the Spiders from Mars yet?
I don't have that.
And
I will go fucking all Bowie out for Spiders from Mars. I didn't even know you had a Spiders from Mars.
We're gonna do it right now. We're gonna do Spiders from Mars.
Uh-huh.
Syrah. This is my smallest production wine that I make.
Ooh.
Hardest to get wine that I make. And that's gonna be the wine for sure. So.
Wow, I feel privileged.
Yeah.
Talking about Bowie, something I'm looking forward to, just to give you a heads up. Bowie's new album comes out in January.
We see Bowie's new album. What does that mean?
There is Lori with the jumps in with the Spiders from Mars. That is right. We're gonna break it open next month. I will drink a lot of it too. I will go think. Oh, Ryan goes with Save You. We have not done Save You. So Save You.
Good one. That's a great song. Well done, Ryan. Thank you, buddy. Song.
Holly with That's My Favorite. I am so excited for
Holly
this.
Holly has expensive taste, and that's okay.
Yeah, so Bowie had his they went through his backlog of music, which is interesting. So a couple months ago, I had Jason Hill on the show. Jason Hill.
By the way, can you imagine how deep is that back catalog? It's got to be so deep.
Well, what's interesting is so Jason Hill from Louis XIV was on the show a couple of months ago. He played David Bowie's last show. He opened up for Bowie. And didn't know it was the last show. It's a crazy story. If you never heard this, I would highly recommend going back and listen to the interview I had with Jason Hill. He is a producer. He's made a lot of opening credits for a lot of Netflix songs. He was in a band called Louis XIV in the early 2000s. Absolutely talented musician. He has the greatest story, and I had no idea about this until the interview, where David Bowie calls him, says, "Hey, I'm having a show in New York. Can you come out?" And it was a seated event. It was Bowie's last performance he ever did. And the guy had no idea. And they recorded music together the day before in studio. And talks about how Bowie had this backlog of catalog of music that he had planned on working on, but passed away only like 2 years later. So from my understanding is that if you go to Bowie's website right now, there's a store open in New York and there's a store overseas. We're celebrating Bowie. And there is this amazing backlog of music that they have produced with Bowie's wife and I believe his son because I think his daughter's younger. It's the oldest one out of both of them, and they have worked with some top musicians in the industry to produce this album that they feel is what Bowie would want out. But they said it is not a complete album where it is from song 1 to the end where they're supposed to fit together. This is a bunch of single songs going on an album of From the Vault going through. So they made that very clear in an interview. I think with Rolling Stone's, like, this is our favorite songs we found through, but they no way whatsoever were meant to be an album together.
Well, I'm excited to hear that.
Yeah.
So anything from Bowie's catalog that hasn't been released yet, that's gonna be great. So
I agree.
Awesome.
So we are doing September 30th. Save You, thanks to Ryan Blackwell.
Yeah.
Top 13 albums of all time, Spiders from Mars, which you're gonna good old send me. And I think that's it, right? I think what's the old saying? I've said enough. You said enough. I don't think there's anything more left to say. Right?
Thank you, buddy.
All right, you hang tight.
Awesome show, man.
All right, we're gonna end the show. Throw up the credits. Trey, hang tight. See you guys in a few weeks.
Yeah.